Hey everyone, I'm Jessica Hartley, 28, currently working as a marketing executive at an innovative tech startup. Life was smooth, good job, a loving boyfriend named Mike, and a solid bond with my dad, Richard. He's been my anchor ever since my mom passed away back in high school. But everything took a turn when Dad got sick, really sick, the kind of illness that makes you confront just how fragile life truly is. We were sitting in the doctor's office, and I could see the worry etched deep on Dad's face. The doctor began laying out the treatment plan. "Mr. Hartley, the procedure is intricate, but it's your best shot at recovery," he explained, his tone steady but serious. Dad nodded slowly, but I could see the calculations running through his mind. "And the cost?" he asked, barely above a whisper. When the doctor gave us the figure, my heart dropped. It was a sum beyond anything I ever imagined. But I squeezed Dad's hand without hesitation. "We'll figure it out, Dad. Don't worry," I assured him, even though my mind was already spiraling. That night, I found myself at the kitchen table, drowning in numbers. My savings, 401 potential loans, it was all on the line. Mike found me amidst the piles of paperwork, my eyes bloodshot from staring at the screen too long. "Babe, you need rest," he said softly, massaging my tense shoulders. I leaned into his touch. "I can't, Mike. I have to make this work for Dad." The following weeks were chaos. Between work, hospital visits, and phone calls, I barely had time to breathe. Dad's wife Diane and her daughter Brittany were around too, but something felt off. "We're so grateful for everything, Jessica," Diane would say, her perfectly manicured fingers tapping on her phone. "Brittany and I just feel so helpless." I forced a smile. "It's okay, Diane. We're family." But as the bills started stacking up, I couldn't ignore the nagging feeling that Diane and Brittany's help was more talk than action. Their support never seemed to extend beyond words. It was always thoughts, prayers, and well wishes while I struggled to keep us afloat financially. One night, after a long day of juggling work and hospital runs, I overheard Diane and Brittany whispering in the kitchen. "Mom, are you sure Jessica can handle all this?" "Maybe we should," Brittany began, but Diane cut her off. Honey, let's not stir the pot. Jessica's got it under control." My blood boiled, but I bit back the urge to confront them. Instead, I buried myself in work, more determined than ever to manage everything. Weeks turned into months, and finally there was hope. Dad was improving, the treatments were working. I should have been thrilled, but the tension at home was unbearable. One evening, as Mike and I curled up on the couch, he pulled me close. "You're amazing, Jess. What you've done for your dad, it's above and beyond." I gave him a weak smile. "I'm just doing what anyone would for their family." He shook his head. "No, not everyone would. I just hope they appreciate it." I wanted to believe they did, but there was this sinking feeling in my gut that wouldn't go away. Something was wrong, but I couldn't quite figure out what. Still, I pushed the thought aside. Dad was getting better, and that was all that mattered. For now. But little did I know, the real storm was just on the horizon. Dad's health was improving, sure, but his attitude, that was a different story. It started small, a dismissive comment here, a harsh word there. But soon it felt like I was walking on eggshells in my own home. Then, one night, I overheard Dad and Diane in the kitchen, their voices hushed. "But Richard, we can't keep dipping into that account. What if Jessica finds out?" Diane's voice was low, but the tension was clear. "She won't," Dad replied, his tone cold and dismissive. "And even if she did, it's none of her business. I'm entitled to some financial privacy, aren't I?" My heart raced. What account? What were they hiding? I retreated to my room, my mind spinning. The next day, I casually mentioned needing Dad's help with some paperwork, hoping to glean more information. "Oh, sweetie, you've got this. You're so capable," he said, not even glancing up from his phone. Deanne chimed in with her usual saccharine smile. "Yes, Jessica, you've been so helpful. Why don't you let us take care of things for a while?" Their words made my skin crawl. But I played along, masking my unease. That night, I waited until everyone was asleep and snuck into Dad's office. What I found made my stomach churn: hidden bank statements, accounts I had no idea existed, and large transfers to Diane and Brittany. Then my eyes landed on something that nearly broke me: a wedding planner's invoice for a destination wedding in Bali. For Brittany. The next morning, I confronted Dad, my hands trembling as I held up the evidence. What is this, Dad? After everything I've done, you're secretly funding Brittany's wedding. His face flushed with anger. You had no right to go through my things. I had every right. I've been breaking my back to pay for your medical bills, and you're funneling money to them. Diane rushed in, her face a perfect mask of Fox concern. Now, Jessica, let's not overreact. Overreact? My voice cracked with fury. You've been bleeding him dry. Dad slammed his fists on the table, startling me. That's enough. I won't be spoken to like this in my own home. You're ungrateful and meddling. I want you out now. I felt like I'd been slapped. Dad, you can't be serious. Oh, I am. And to make sure Brittany has the wedding she deserves, I've sold your car. The money's already been transferred. The room spun. My car, the one thing I had left that was truly mine, gone. You can't do this, I whispered, barely able to breathe. I can, and I have. Pack your things and leave. You're no longer welcome here. Diane had the audacity to look sympathetic. It's for the best, dear. You understand, don't you? I looked at them, my father, the man I'd sacrificed everything for, and the woman who had wormed her way into our lives. Something hardened inside me. I understand perfectly, I said, my voice icy. I understand that I've been a fool. But not anymore. I packed a bag, my thoughts racing. Where would I go? What would I do? As I stood by the door, I turned back one last time. I hope you're happy with your choices, Dad, because this is the last time you'll ever see me. The door slammed behind me, the sound echoing in the silence of my new reality. Homeless, in debt, and betrayed by the one person I thought I could always rely on. But as I stood there, surrounded by the wreckage of my old life, something inside me stirred, determination, anger, and a fierce resolve not just to survive this but to come out on top. I pulled out my phone and dialed. Mike, it's me. I need a place to stay. And then I need your help with something. It's time to fight back. Mike's sister Allison offered her spare room as my sanctuary. And as I unpacked the few belongings I'd managed to grab, the weight of my situation hit me like a freight train. Jess, you're shaking, Allison said, wrapping me in a hug. Let it out. I'm here. And I did. I sobbed until I had no tears left. When Mike arrived, his face was a storm of concern, and I recounted everything between hiccups and fresh tears. Those manipulative snakes, Mike growled. We need a plan. Allison nodded, her jaw set with determination. First things first, you need a job that appreciates you. The next day, I marched into my boss's office, heart pounding. Rachel, I need to talk to you about my future here, I said, standing tall. Rachel looked up, surprised. Jessica, what's going on? Taking a deep breath, I laid it all out, my increased responsibilities, the successful campaigns I'd spearheaded, my unwavering dedication. I believe I've more than proven myself. I'm asking for a promotion and a raise. Rachel leaned back in her chair, a slow smile spreading across her face. I was wondering when you'd come to me. The senior marketing position opens next month. It's yours if you want it. I walked out of that office feeling like I could conquer the world, but I knew it wasn't enough. That night, huddled around Allison's kitchen table, we brainstormed furiously. What about your social media skills? Mike suggested. You could freelance on the side. And just like that, my side hustle was born. I threw myself into work, hardly sleeping, but slowly, surely, my savings started to grow. Weeks passed. I was exhausted but determined. Then one night, as I pored over some old financial documents I had managed to save, something caught my eye. Guys, I called out, my voice trembling. I think I found something. Allison and Mike crowded around my laptop. What is it? Allison asked, peering at the screen. Look at these loan applications, I said, pointing. The numbers don't add up. And these tax forms. There's no way this is legal. Mike whistled low. Jess, this is serious. What are you going to do? I sat back, conflicted. I don't know. He's still my dad. A dad who kicked you out and sold your car. Allison reminded me softly. I nodded, feeling a sense of resolve solidify inside me. You're right. I need to do something. The next few days were a whirlwind of secret phone calls and anonymous tip-offs. I gathered every scrap of evidence I could find and packaged it neatly for the authorities. As I hovered over the send button on the final email, Doubt crept in. What if I'm making a mistake? I whispered. Mike squeezed my shoulder. You're not responsible for his actions, Jess. You're just making sure he faces the consequences. With a deep breath, I clicked send. A weight lifted off my shoulders. The fallout was swift. Within days, news of an investigation into my father's finances spread like wildfire. I kept my head down at work, but couldn't help overhearing snippets of conversation. Did you hear about Richard Hartley? Tax evasion, they're saying. I always thought that new wife of his was trouble. Then one evening, my phone lit up with a familiar number. Jessica, please. Dad's voice cracked. I need your help. They're investigating me. I made some mistakes. I closed my eyes, steadying myself. No, Dad. You made your choice. Now you have to deal with the consequences. I hung up, my hand trembling. Allison appeared at my side, offering a glass of wine. You okay? She asked gently. I took a sip, feeling the warmth spread through me. You know what? I think I am. For the first time in a long time, I feel free. Mike joined us, raising his own glass. To new beginnings, he said with a grin. I clinked my glass against theirs, a smile tugging at my lips. To justice, and to never letting anyone take advantage of us again. As we sat there, laughing and planning for the future, I realized something. This wasn't just about survival anymore. It was about thriving on my own terms. And I was just getting started. The dominoes fell faster than I had ever imagined.